The Georgia Bulldogs come into the 2024 season as the consensus, the unanimous #1 team in the country, having won 2 out of the last 3 national championships, falling just short of making the college football playoff last year after a loss to Alabama in the SEC championship. But they return a host of players, and we're going to dive into not only that, but specifically this video today continues our bold predictions series here at SEC Unfiltered, the best SEC entity on the internet. Hello, everyone. I'm Blayne Gilmer. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to get to those bold predictions here in just a second, but we got to pay the bills first, and we want to do that by telling you about our friends at MYBOOKIE.ag. Guys, it's that time of the year where the calendar is about to turn over to March. March Madness is right around the corner with basketball. You got SEC basketball. You got SEC baseball. You have Major League Baseball about to get kicked up. The NBA is still rolling. MMA fights are coming up. Soccer matches, everything that you could think of. MyBookie, if it's out there, you can bet on it with MyBookie. Not just lines, guys, not just totals, guys, but prop bets, everything you could imagine. There are a ton of them out there. So, but just use the promo code SECU and get your deposit matched halfway up to $1,000. So you get a 50% deposit match up to $1,000 just using that promo code SECU on your first deposit. They accept credit card, bank transfer, Bitcoin, and more. So hit them up today, guys. But MyBookie, the industry's leading online sports book and casino, and it's not hard to understand why, because you can bet on anything, whether you're at home or on the go. They have a mobile-friendly app, guys. It's not too late to make your New Year's resolution come true of getting paid, making more money. Bet, win, and get paid at MyBookie.ag. Now, what you can also bet on is some production out of this offense for the Georgia Bulldogs in 2024. And one of the big reasons why is because of a transfer that came in by the name none other than from their bitter rival in Florida, running back Trevor Ettiene. And my bold prediction #1 for the Bulldogs is that the Dogs will have their first 1,000-yard rusher in a single season since DeAndre Swift in 2019. Georgia's had some tremendous running backs coming through, whether it's the combo of Zamir White and James Cook, or Daijun Edwards and Kendall Milton, all who are either doing their thing in the league or will get an opportunity to do their thing in the league. But they were not able to eclipse that 1,000-yard marker individually. I think the difference between Trevor Ettiene and those is because I think he's a true home run hitter. And people are going to say, well, what about James Cook? He had speed. Yes, but most of his big plays seem to come either they threw the ball to him down the field, or, it was a deal where he got his touches a lot closer to the goal line, it seemed, and wasn't able to break some of those big runs. But whether it was the power toss and different things that they were doing at that time, I think Trevor Ettiene is a true game breaker and is going to hit a lot of long home runs to be able to make the most of his carries, because make no mistake about it, Georgia still has a lot of backs, and the carries will be split. However, I think Trevor Ettiene makes the most out of those carries and has several games where he goes big time in games. I'm talking about 150 to 175-yard performances in a few of these games, and I think Trevor Ettiene will be a home run waiting to happen there for Georgia. So prediction #1, Trevor Ettiene will be Georgia's first 1,000-yard rusher since DeAndre Swift in 2019. For the prediction #2, let's go to the other side of the ball. Georgia sets the high mark for sacks as a team under Kirby Smart. So in the Kirby Smart era, the team record under Kirby Smart is 49.5 sacks, 49 even in a season. I predict they'll have 49.5 or more, surpassing that 49 mark that they set a few years ago. Now, that was with Devontae White and Jordan Davis and Trevon Walker and Nakobe Dean and all of these players that were tremendously talented and elite and for first-round picks just one after another. I'm not saying that the defense will be up necessarily to that level, but I do think the makings of a team that brings more pressure than Georgia has in the past are there for this. I mean, you go look at some of the social media stuff that's out there of leaderboards and things of miles per hour that's been hit by some defensive linemen and heavy skill guys and things of that nature that in fact I posted on my Twitter account. And one of those names is Terrion Ingrams-Dawkins, who is approaching 20 miles an hour or more on the GPS. He was really kind of coming into his own last year, had some injury stuff, things like that. So I think TID is a big reason for that. I think moving Michael Williams out to that jack position, letting him stand up and rush the passer more in what is basically amounting to a contract year for him, right? He's going to go to the NFL after this, so he is playing for draft stock and playing to kind of put himself up in that upper echelon of edge players as he goes towards that next level. I think you'll see Michael Williams have a big jump in his sack production as well. But there's other guys that can win on the inside, guys, whether it's Nazir Stackhouse and Warren Brinson. I think they're capable of taking a jump and winning some one-on-one matchups. Also, Kristen Miller. So many guys that I think can get after people on Georgia's front. And a lot of times, if you'll remember where Georgia generated pressure with that 2021 defense, it was because of linebackers that were blitzing and exchanging gaps with defensive linemen, things of that nature. Nakobe Dean was excellent at looping around and getting pressure on the quarterback, and Georgia has tremendously athletic inside linebackers in this 2024 season. Smile London is capable of running anyone down. You have CJ Allen, who's already shown that he can do this to a little bit, and then Raylan Wilson may be the most athletic linebacker that Georgia has. He is that kind of a freak athlete. He got a little bit of experience towards the end last year, but look for Georgia as a team, because of maybe not being as dominant in just stone cold stopping the run by playing base and not having to, and two gapping and all this kind of stuff that they're able to do in the past. They may not have that same exact ability to do that. So sometimes you have to create a little more havoc, okay, and bring a little bit more pressure. I think Georgia will do that. Also, I think there's going to be a feeling out period on the back end, even though they have Malachi Starks and even though they have Dalen Everett, who have experience from last year. They're still replacing a lot of stuff, replacing Kamari Laster, replacing Tyke Smith, replacing Javon Bullard. So you may not right off the bat have kind of that soundness in the secondary. So what does that mean at times? Don't make them cover as long by sending more pressure. So I think you will see a more aggressive Georgia team on defense, and I think it will set the record for sacks in the Kirby Smart era there. Prediction number 3. Not only do I think Georgia will be more aggressive on defense, I think this offense, led by 4 starters on the offensive line, if you count Dylan Fairchild as a starter because he started a lot of the year last year, with Ernest Green, Dylan Fairchild, Tate Ratledge, and Xavier Truss coming back, 4 out of 5 starting offensive linemen. Carson Beck, of course, maybe the number 1 overall pick for next year. If the 2025 draft were to take place today, he'd be in the conversation for it for sure. And then when you have things going out like the talented running backs, Dominic Lovett, Robert Thomas, Colby Young, you have, of course, Landon Humphreys coming over, the tight end room that is unreal. Georgia's going to be hard to stop, guys. And I think with the schedule and the way it lays out and things like that, I think they'll really put up a lot of points in some games. And I think you'll see them be the leading scoring offense in the country and also leading in total yardage. And how far off have they been from that? Not very. In the top 5 in both categories over the last couple of years. So I think you're going to see Georgia with a just like we saw in Stetson Bennett's second year as a starter, we saw they just turned on the switch in terms of the offensive production and efficiency and things like that. I think you're going to see it go to another level for Carson Beck and company, where it was already impressive in the 2023 season. So, guys, those are bold predictions for the Georgia Bulldogs that we have here at SEC Unfiltered. Expected to be another big year for Georgia, and if these predictions come true, then it definitely will be. Guys, tell us what you think about them in the comments. Also, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and then make sure to check out our friends at MYBOOKIE.ag as well. Use that promo code SECU. Thank you so much for tuning in to SEC Unfiltered, the best SEC entity on the internet. And we will catch you guys later to talk more Georgia football, more SEC football, and more college football right here on SEC Unfiltered.